Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. Today we are ranking all of Marina's songs that have been released on her album. So none of these are going to be singles that weren't put on albums. This isn't going to include the new single Butterfly, but if you do want to know my thoughts on that, you can just watch my short here. As I did with my Lana ranking video, I've created 5 categories based on songs released by the artist, but by no means are these a reflection on how I feel about the songs themselves. I don't believe Marina has released a bad song, so that is why I wanted to rank them. Saying that, the categories are as follows. At the very bottom, we have End of the Earth songs. Then we have Oh No songs. And then we have Superstar songs slap bang in the middle. Handmade Heaven songs nearly at the top. And then at the very top we have Immortal songs, which in my opinion are utter perfection. So without further ado, let's rank all of these songs. Starting with End of the Earth songs, we are going to go through the albums chronologically, and I'm just going to let you know which of the songs made it into this category. The Family Jewels. This is such a nostalgic album for me because I was listening to her back when she first started, and this album was very much that piece of work that got me into her music, and I understood the kind of musician she was. Saying that, compared to a lot of the albums she's brought out since, it doesn't really hold up too many of them, and I think the fact that there are quite a few songs in this category from this album does mirror that. So the songs that made it into the bottom category from the Family Jewels are Mowgli's Road. I don't even know if I'm pronouncing that right, even though I've listened to the song multiple times. But anyway, I feel like I can't really connect to this song. There isn't a lot of emotion to it, and I kind of need that in a song for me to be like, oh yeah, this is really good. Saying that, I do love the line, you say yes to everything. That is just pointing a finger at the people pleaser in this scenario. And then we have The Outsider, Guilty, which in my opinion is a little too repetitive, and The Family Jewels. Mirroring what I said about her newer albums being a little bit better than this one, which I think is normal because artists get better over time. None of the other albums, so none of the songs on those albums made it into this bottom category. So that's End of the Earth songs for you. Moving up to Oh No songs. From the Family Jewels, we have Are You Satisfied? This one is extremely catchy. The only thing that stops me from popping this into the bottom category is the chorus. I think the chorus saves the song. Then we have Champagne, which I absolutely love, and I love the music video too, but it's not quite mid-tier material. Then we have Girls, 17 and Rootless, which is a little depressing, but I like that it has that emotion to it, which is why it didn't go into the bottom category. Moving on to Electra Heart. This was the album that solidified my interest in this artist 100%, and the fact that she released so many songs on this album, like with the deluxe version as well, it really showed her work ethic, and it just showed that she was creating a new character for a different album. So this Electra Heart album really focuses on that 1950s housewife character, which she implemented so well. Off of the Electra Heart album, we have Teen Idol. Although I love the message of this song, it's not quite mid-tier material. It can be a little bit slow, but I understand that it has to be slow because of the message that it's putting across. And then we have Valley of the Dolls and Radioactive. The Fruit album. This is hands down my favourite album by Marina. I was sort of toing and froing between this and Love and Fear because so many songs of that album connect with me. That is very much more of an emotionally based album, but Fruit has to take the cake. Although she doesn't portray herself as this whole new character, she still does have a kind of persona in this album, but it feels a lot more like Marina, like her actual personality and how she would actually want to dress and be viewed as. And I love the authenticity that comes with that, but it does have some songs that made it into this second above bottom category. Firstly, we have Can't Pin Me Down. I'm just not a massive fan of the vocal delivery in this song. It's just a little bit too rough for me. And the other song is Immortal. Moving on to Love and Fear. As I said, this is probably my second favourite album by her due to the vulnerability and the emotion in it. But there are a few songs that made it into this category. The first song is Baby, and that's primarily due to it sounding a little bit too poppy for me. I do love a good pop song, but it doesn't feel like Marina. This song does not feel like her true style, and again with that authenticity, I think that's why I don't like it as much, because it doesn't feel authentic, it doesn't feel like her. And then we have End of the Earth and Life is Strange. Life is Strange mainly made it into this category because the cello or whatever string instrument is being used is too emphasised in the song, and that's all I focus on when I listen to it. And I'm really sorry if I've put that in your head and you were fine with it before, but that's why here. And then we have no songs off of Ancient Dreams in Modern Land that made it into this category. Moving on to the mid-tier category, we have superstar songs. From the Family Jewels album, we first have I Am Not a Robot. This, or Obsessions, may be the first Marina song I ever listened to, and therefore one of the songs that got me into her in the first place, and for this reason it made it into the mid category. I think it's the perfect introductory song to this artist, and the vocals are also really good in the song. And the other song from this album is Oh No. From Electra Heart we have Bubblegum Bitch, Prima Donna, which I absolutely love and I think is an epic song. It is an epic song, but it simply was just overplayed, and I hate myself for saying that, but it does do something. When something is overplayed, it makes you not like the song as much because it reminds you of a time when it was played everywhere you went. Then we have Homewrecker, Power and Control, and whilst I love the power and the beat of this one, it just gets a little bit repetitive after a while. Then we have Fear and Loathing, which is just operatic. The vocals are just beautiful in this song, and Lonely Hearts Club and How to Be a Heartbreaker. And off of the Fruit album we have I'm a Ruin, and I do have a very deep connection to this song because when this came out, or maybe shortly after, I was in the process of thinking about breaking up with my boyfriend at the time, and I remember driving home from uni on a weekend or something, and I was listening to this song and I just thought, what am I gonna do? Like, I don't know if I'm gonna do it or not. Ended up that I stayed with him for another 4 or 5 years after that, but I still have a very deep emotional connection to this song, and I can remember what I was feeling at the time whilst listening to it. And that is why I love music so much, because it has that power to just take us right back to that moment, which was so long ago. And yeah. And then we have Solitaire, which is so different, and even though Marina is a very unique artist, this song in particular stands out as something that even for her is very, very different. And then we have Better Than That and Savages, which has a fantastic message. Off Love and Fear we have Handmade Heaven, Enjoy Your Life and True. And I think True made it to the mid category due to the drop before the chorus. That is a banging drop in a song. And then Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land, we have Ancient Dreams in a Modern Land. This is gonna sound weird, but I think there's just too much going on in this song to really enjoy it. I don't know if that makes sense. There is a lot to take in, so I feel like you have to listen to it many, many times to really enjoy it, and it takes a lot of concentration, but that could just be my brain. And the other song off of this album is Pandora's Box. Okay, we've made it to almost the top category. These are the Handmade Heaven songs. So we do have a few from Family Jewels. They did make it into this category. Starting with Hollywood, Hermit the Frog, which was a surprising one. I think this is probably the one that surprised me the most, in that I did not think I liked it that much, but it's actually sung so damn well, and the backing track of the strings contrasting with the poppy beat is incredible, and the bridge at the end. Dare I say more? From Electra Heart we have Lies, and I'm just hearing the every time I think of the song, that is what I hear. There's a bit of story behind this one. When this first came out, I was a fan, but when she did the acoustic set, I cannot even describe how much more I fell in love with the song after she did that set. And she performed a few other songs from the album as well, but this swayed me so much into making this song one of my favourites. And that truly shows the power of singing a song in a different way with different instruments that makes you fall in love with it so much more than you already did. Next up we have Starring Role and The State of Dreaming, the part where she goes high in this and she says the word dreaming. And lastly, off of this album, we have Sex Yeah. Just a couple of songs off of the Fruit album that made it into this category. We have Forget. There's so many things I love about this song, including the beat, but also the lyric, I've been dancing with the devil, I love that he pretends to care. And the other song off this album is Gold. Off of Love and Fear, we have Superstar. This is another one that when it first came out, I wasn't a massive fan, but after listening to it over the years, and it's taken that long for it to happen, it's become one of my favourites. And I don't know why that happens. I think we as humans just evolve and change over time, and what we like to listen to does change. And although we can love listening to the same artists over a long period of time, our favourite songs by them will change because of our changing maturity levels and preferences. It's just very interesting. And then we have Orange Trees, To Be Human and Believe in Love. And this is such an emotionally vulnerable song, and I think it can be relatable to so many people in different ways. And lastly, we have Emotional Machine. Moving on to Ancient Dreams, we have Venus Flytrap, Purge the Poison and Highly Emotional People. I do love a slow song from Marina, if you hadn't already guessed. This one is just one of those that portrays that emotion so well, and the vulnerability comes through so well too. And then we have New America and I Love You But I Love Me More. Okay, it is time for the top tier songs of this video. These are well and truly the immortal songs. They will live on forever, and I don't think, despite what I was saying earlier, these will change. Off of the Family Jewels album, we have Obsessions. And as I said, Obsessions is maybe the first song I listened to by Marina, but maybe not. And this is one of the reasons why it's made it into the top category. But the other reason why it's made it this high is because the song is pure perfection and there is nothing to fault about it. It describes so well a dysfunctional relationship, which I'm sure so many people have experienced in the past or are currently experiencing. And that is why I love it so much. It puts that image, that atmosphere across so well. And the second song we have is Numb, and mainly because it's angelic and powerful. It's two in one. There's a lot of emotion going on here, and the symbolic use of a shooting star is just, it's perfection. From Electra Heart, we have Living Dead. This song is such a bop, right? That if I was feeling really down one day and I just didn't want to do anything, if this song came on, I would get up and dance around the house. That is the impact this song has on me. And then we have Hippocrates, which is a summer bop. And it may not be an obvious summer bop, but when you listen to that backing track, it just screams sun rays and just trees like waving in the wind. You get me? It's also a really interesting contrast to the heavier songs that Electra Heart mainly consists of. This is a very airy sounding pop punk song that sounds like it's from the noughties. And the last song is By the Stars. The riff she does with her vocals in this song is incredibly special, and the message of that person trying to tame that girl. He wants to be with her so much, but he's never going to change, and he has to understand that he's not going to tame her because she knows what he's like. She knows his behaviour and what he truly wants, and I think it's beautifully written into this song. Moving on to Fruit, the best album she's released, we have the song Happy. Like I said earlier, I am a massive fan of Marina's slower songs, and I think I do prefer them to her faster ones. Depends on the day, depends how I'm feeling, but she has a way of projecting that emotion through a song to the audience in a way that they can connect to, and I think this song is a prime example of that. And then we have Fruit, which, as the title track, definitely does live up to the brilliance of the album it's on. Her deep vocals from her diaphragm are intense and powerful, and it's just a very summery sounding song that I can't fault. Then we have Blue, which I think can be summarised in 4 words, and that is summer and a bop. And the last song off of the Fruit album that made it into the top category is Weeds. This is an incredible song, but I think the one thing that got it into this top category is that line, I miss all of my exes, they're the only ones who know me. Every time that line is delivered in the song, I tear up, and that is insane. That one line can do that to me. Moving on to Love and Fear, we have You, and the reason it's made it into the top category is the chorus. It's so catchy and delivered so well. And then we have Karma, and I personally love the Eastern sound of this song. It is really good to dance to if you just want to have a little boogie, and the message of it is true. And then we have Too Afraid, and it's actually the verses in this song that allowed it to be put in the top category. The verses are beautifully written and delivered in this song, and they set up a really good stage for the chorus to be built, but the chorus doesn't live up to the hype of the verses. But as I said, it's still in the top category because the verses are so good, and the song overall still packs a big punch. And then we have No More Suckers, which is just so hopeful, and you can hear the relief in her voice as she says the words, and you can also have a drive to it. And the last song off this album is Soft to Be Strong. Another example of a slow song that reaches the audience in different ways. And off of Ancient Dreams, we do have quite a few. Starting with Man's World, out of all of her songs, this is the one that has the most powerful impact in terms of the lyrics, and the vocals are beautiful in this one. Then we have Flowers, and although this didn't used to be a favourite of mine, the more I've listened to it, the more the lyrics have had an effect on me. And then we have Goodbye. This may not be my favourite song by her, it might well be, I really can't decide, but if it's not, it's definitely a contender. And I honestly believe this is the most beautiful of the slow songs that she's ever released. The lyric about being a mother to everyone else, I don't even have any kids, it's so cleverly written, and it breaks your heart. Moving on to Happy Loner, I'm just gonna say it, the deluxe songs made this album so much better. So much better. Happy Loner is a very sad song, but it's also about self-love, and there's a particular line, I pick up on everybody's energy, I always used to feel that there was something wrong with me, and I can relate to that so much because that is how I felt all my life. I've always felt like I can feel what other people are feeling without them having to tell me, and sometimes it feels like I'm carrying a burden because I can feel so much the distress that other people are experiencing. And then we have Pink Convertible, which is probably my least favourite of the deluxe songs, but it's still that good that it makes it into the top category. It also has a supremely powerful message and mirrors the overall message of the Ancient Dreams album. And the last song is Free Woman. This truly is a feminist anthem, which a lot of Marina's songs are, but this one takes the cake in terms of its vulnerability and authenticity. And that's it. That's all of Marina's songs ranked. I hope you enjoyed this video. I understand that people are going to be like, how is that song in the bottom, or how is that song in the top? But yeah, let me know in the comments what your least favourite or your favourite songs are, or both. I would love to know your opinion, but until next time guys, take care.